Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Noor Azizah and I'm from class C 2020. And now I would like to present the material about linguistic varieties and multilingual nation in EFL context. Over half the world population is bilingual and many people are multilingual. They acquire a number of languages because they need them for different purposes in their everyday interaction. One language was his ethnic or tribal language, another was the language of his education, another served as useful language of wider communication in particular contexts, such as the marketplace or with outsider or the tourist. In order to assess the relative claims of different languages, it is necessary to look at their status and the function which they serve. Sociolinguists have developed a number of ways of categorizing languages according to their status and social function. The distinction between a vernacular language and the standard language is a useful place to start. Next, about vernacular languages. The term vernacular is used in a number of ways. It generally refers to a language which has not been standardized and which does not have official status. Vernacular are usually the first language learned by people in multilingual communities, and they are often used for relatively narrow range of informal function. There are three components of the meaning the term vernacular. And first is the most basic refers to the fact that vernacular is uncodified, uncodified or unstandard variety. And the second refers to the way it is acquired in the home as a first variety. And the third is the fact that it is used for relatively circumscribed function. The term vernacular generally refers to the most colloquial variety in a person linguistic repertoire. In a multilingual community, this variety will often be a standard ethnic or tribal language. The vernacular is the variety used for communication in the home and with close friends. It is language of solidarity between people from the same ethnic group. By extension, the term has been used to refer in a monolingual community to the most informal and colloquial variety of language which may also have a standardized variety. And next is about standard languages. Standard varieties are codified varieties. Codification is usually achieved through grammar and dictionaries which record and sometimes prescribe the standard form of the language. Dictionary rights of lexicographers have to decide which word to include in the dictionary as part of the standard variety, which form to mark as a dialectal and which to commit altogether. They generally take the usage of educated and socially prestigious member of the community as their criterion. And next, it's about lingua franca. Lingua franca is a language used for communication between people who first languages differ. In multilingual communities, lingua franca are so useful they may eventually display the vernaculars. When people from different ethnic groups marry in the Democratic Republic of the Congo Zaire or the Tanzania or Papua New Guinea, they often use the lingua franca of their area as the language of the home, and their children may therefore learn very little of their father and mother vernaculars. Lingua franca often developed initially as a trade language, illustrating again the influence of economic factors on language change. In West Africa, Hausa is learned as a second language and used in nearly every marketplace. In East Africa, Swahili is the most widely used trade language, and it was this the fact that it was known and used so widely which led the Tanzanian government to select it for promotion as the country's national language. And next about Pidgins and Creoles. Pidgin is a language which has no native speaker. Pidgin developed as a means of communication between people who do not have a common language, so a pidgin is no one native language. Pidgin seems particularly likely to arise when two groups with different languages are communicating in a situation where there is also a third dominant language. Pidgin languages are created from the combined effort of people who speak different languages. Uh, all language involved may contribute to the sounds, the vocabulary, and the grammatical features, but to different extent, and some additional features may emerge which are unique to new variety. And the last is about Creoles. A Creole is a pidgin which has a quite native speaker. Many of the languages which are called pidgin are in fact now Creole languages. They are learned by children as their first language and used in wide range domains. As a result of their status as same group first language, Creoles also differ from Pidgin in their range of function, in their structure, and in some cases in the attitude expressed toward them. A Creole is a Pidgin which has expanded in structure and vocabulary to express the range of meanings and serve the range of function required of a first language. Thank you. I think that's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.